This video is all about your tone and your tonality. So as I say with all of the other videos, you probably hear this a lot from me on this course, be sure to practice this. So obviously listen, take notes, but if you want to become a speaker, if you want to improve your confidence, if you want to improve your communication, then you have to take action. So take notes, learn, understand, but then be sure to practice using this skill. So what I'm going to share with you is the tonality triangle. Tonality triangle. Now I'm going to start here with your mid-tone, your mid. Now what's mid-tone? Your conversational tone. So often when I see speakers going up to present, especially when they're learning, but even some speakers still now, they feel they have to almost go into professional presentation mode. And as soon as they walk on stage or into the office where perhaps they're presenting to their team, they suddenly go a lot louder and articulate their words a lot, very clearly, and they go into this very powerful tone. And when you listen to somebody speaking in this tone for a long time, it becomes very intense. So don't get me wrong, we are going to speak about the power tone, and it is very, very useful, especially for world-class speakers. However, I want everybody to start getting used to speaking as you just would normally speak. We don't need to have our presentation voice. It's your conversational voice. And you know what's really beautiful is if you spend the majority of your presentations in mid-tone, in conversation, you actually build much better rapport with people because it feels like you're just having a conversation. So mid, this is the tone that you want to be in for most of your presentation. And of course, when you're communicating with people outside, most of the time you are going to be in your mid-tone, conversational voice. And that might sound really, really obvious, but I've been doing this a little while now. I train a lot of speakers, and so many of them, including in the past myself, that was an area that I really needed to improve on. So many come on stage and start presenting with this loud voice. And you don't need to. So just practice and understand getting used to using your conversational voice whenever you are delivering. The next one I'm going to share with you is the low tone, your low tone. So this is dropping into a much more softer tone. Usually, and I'm going to speak about pace as well in a moment, but usually we slow down the pace for our soft voice as well. But it's about being able to sink into a lower tone, a different emotion. So perhaps if you wanted to be able to share a story of something that had happened to you, something that was really painful, in order to be able to inspire your audience, when you tap into that emotion, tap into your lower tone as well. Play around, see how soft you can go, how you can still be heard, but by using such a soft tone. Now some of you watching this might be thinking, yeah, but Harriet, no one's going to hear you. I could hardly hear you on the video. I had to turn my volume up. Well, of course, if you are in an office or if you're in a workspace environment, it's about dropping enough that you can still be heard, but not too much that they lose you. However, when you're speaking from stage, when you've got a microphone, you'll be absolutely amazed at how low you can drop, and the mic, the speakers will still do all of the work for you and you will still be heard. So low tone, very good for bringing emotion into your stories. It's also a little bonus tip for you here. It's also a really powerful way to capture the attention of the audience again. So many speakers will use what we're about to go on to, the power tone. So many speakers use the power tone and they use it well. Some a little bit too much, but not often do you really see speakers that are utilizing the low tone throughout their presentation, and it's a very powerful way to capture the attention back. So when I drop, people wonder what's going on, it's a state change, it's a pattern interrupt. They wonder what's happening, and they're more likely to bring their attention and their focus back to you so you can keep them engaged. So it's a very powerful way to keep that engagement and focus from your audience. Now, last but not least, we have power. Your power tone. Now, of course, in exactly the same way that we just shared about your low tone, your power voice, the power, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. The power voice is a very powerful way to not only capture the audience's attention, but of course, you can't just shout all the way through your presentation. So you have to be very aware of when you are using this tone. Usually you want to step into your power tone when you're having a powerful moment. So I'm an inspirational speaker. I speak a lot about personal development and becoming the best version of yourself. So of course, in moments that I want to emphasize and unleash your warrior within and share a powerful quote or phrase to the audience, then I will shift into power voice. Shift into power voice. So again, this is something to play around with, and I'm going to share with you an activity in the moment that you can use to practice this. But again, you can't just read it, it has to be spoken. So start practicing and playing around with your tones. And in particular with these two, try going and really loud. Why? Am I saying that you're going to present like that? Maybe not. But how do you ever know what does work or what you're capable of doing unless you push those boundaries? So at our live events, we do the activity that I'm going to share with you in a moment. And it really is about putting your energy into that optimum level of both and power, but allowing yourself to go there. Even if it feels a little bit silly, even if you're at home wondering if the neighbors can hear you, so what if they can? It's okay. Just practice getting comfortable being able to slip just from normal conversational tone into your power voice, letting a message land, and then bringing it back and being able to go very soft. And the other thing I mentioned that I was going to just refer to in this video is your pace. One of the biggest problems I see when people first start speaking is they speak very, very quickly. Now, maybe that's because they want to get it over and done with. I don't know. Perhaps it's nerves. When we feel nervous, do we tend to speak quicker or slower? Quicker, of course. And not only does speaking very quickly sometimes give the impression that you are nervous, it's actually very, very difficult to follow. And this, again, power and speaking quickly was my biggest area of improvement when I was growing as a speaker. When I came on stage, I just wanted to be able to deliver, and I was speaking very, very quickly. But even on this short gap in this video now, can you feel that it's actually quite intense to be speaking at this volume and this pace consistently to you? Imagine doing that to an audience. It's very intense. So start to become aware of your pace when you're speaking. Can you slow it down a bit? Can you speed certain areas up? And of course, can you maintain just a gentle, grounded, conversational tone that's not too slow, but also isn't too fast and intense? So play around with your pace as well. And I'm gonna give a bonus tip in here about pace, and it is the power of the pause. The power of the pause. The power of the pause. Now this really is a solid bonus tip. I do not see enough speakers utilizing the power of the pause. Not only is it very good for us, because it allows us to just take a moment, take a deep breath in, think about what we're saying, make sure that we're happy and confident within ourselves, and take a deep breath out. So it's a grounding moment for speakers. However, the audience have absolutely no idea that you are doing that. But for the audience, it's a state change. If anybody has drifted off, if their concentration has changed, if their focus is on perhaps what they're having for dinner that night, by pausing and leaving that gap between what you are saying, it hooks the mind back in. They suddenly think, oh, why has it gone quiet? And they start engaging again. Or for those of you delivering a really solid, strong presentation and everyone is still totally engaged, it's just a powerful way of hooking their attention even further. That it creates suspense. They're eager and they want to know what your next word or sentence will be after this pause. So it's very, very powerful, not only for at the beginning of your journey, grounding and calming yourself, being able to just pause, take a deep breath in and out. Calming yourself, giving yourself confidence as a speaker. A lot of people use it when they first start closing or monetizing their message. But more than that, it's very engaging and can capture your audience. So that is the power of